What is up? Welcome back to another episode of UPressPlay Sports. I believe we're on episode 7. It has been a fun, wild ride, this podcast. As you know, I am your host, business manager Joseph Acosta, with a new look today. I got the Twitch streamer headphones. They're kind of, it lights up, so it looks kind of cool. I'm joined by sports editor Richard Pereira and photo editor Eston Parker. Richard, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Eston, how you feeling? How you feeling?
Hanging in.
All right, hanging in. That's the most we can do with the end of the semester coming up. We just getting by. But we're gonna start off. Actually, we'll start off with FAU soccer. Because you normally don't start off with soccer, we start off with baseball. We're gonna start off with soccer this episode. So the FAU men's soccer team on Saturday, they played number 14 Charlotte. Unfortunately, that ended in a 0-1 loss. And then the FAU women's soccer team on April 9th defeated that team down south 3-0. And then the Conference USA Championship, they faced Southern Miss in the quarterfinals and lost 2-1. So guys, kind of give me your reaction. We'll start off with the men's soccer game against number 14 Charlotte. What are your instant reactions to that game? Charlotte is 14th ranked team in the country. It was a steep battle going in, but some of these scores to these games, like, Marshall was 13 and we only lost 0-1. We played Charlotte and we lost 0-1. So these closest losses have to mean something, right?
I have to agree with that. While the men's performance against Charlotte was better than it was against Marshall, especially on the offensive end, it was just difficult because Marshall's defense was very good. Like, they did everything they could to limit FEU's actual creativity on the offensive end, like creating potential opportunities to score goals. FEU only had 2 shots on target compared to Charlotte's 3. And coincidentally, that extra shot Charlotte had over FEU, it went in. So it was just a tough break for FEU. So their last game is against UAB, and hopefully they end the season on a good note.
Yeah, it always seems like FAU is coming out on the wrong side of these one-shot games. Eston, as the season comes to a close for the men's soccer team, what do you think? What are you going to take away from this season on what FAU has done the best?
I'd say defensively, they've done a very good job this season, and we've talked about that before on the previous podcasts. And also, if I'm a coach for FAU for the men's team, I'm thinking, you came close to beating Charlotte, and obviously didn't have the best outing against Marshall, but you only lost 1-0. I mean, there's a ton of encouraging signs moving forward, and I think next season can be really exciting because I feel if there were maybe 4 or 5 more games in this season, you'd really see this team start to click. So I'm looking forward to next season, that's for sure. And this last game, of course, on Saturday.
Of course, got last game against UAB. That's going to be at home, Richard, or is that going to be at UAB?
Home game. I'll be there.
That's going to be at home. You want to follow Richard at Rich26Pereira on Twitter.
Yep.
You're going to want to follow him there. He's going to be updating you with the score, highlights from the game. If you want to know about FAU soccer, that is the guy you need to know. That's the plug for FAU soccer. Now we go to the FAU women's soccer team. Before the tournament started, we had 4 Owls on the FAU women's soccer team actually earn All Conference USA honors. Midfielder G. Kirstek, I hope I'm not pronouncing her name right, incorrect. I'm so sorry. Midfielder Kirstek, he was a midfielder, was a member of the All Conference USA first team. Forward Miracle Porter and defender Amanda Martin were named to the second team, and Sammy Vitals was voted third team at midfield. Goalkeeper Emmett Cohen was named to the all-freshman team. So that makes 5 Owls who were named to the all-conference teams, both freshman and regular all-conference USA. This team was one of the best in Conference USA, and Conference USA recognized them for their talents. Going into this game, you kind of had the feeling that FAU would make a deep run in this tournament. Unfortunately, it ended at the hands of Southern Mississippi, 2-1. Richard, what were your reactions to that game?
It was it was surprising and not in a good way. We conceded a goal early, but really it was just unlucky because Emmett Cohen was doing a great job at keeping Southern Miss from scoring. And then after 40 minutes, a goal by Southern Miss slipped past her hands and into the net. She tried getting it, but it was too late. And then the second goal, which was a great goal by Southern Miss, it was a pass from across the pitch and to the player who smashed it past Cohen into the net. It was just a good goal by Southern Miss, and all credit to them. FAU was able to get a goal back by a brilliant delivery from Hunter Coziera to Thelma to Mia Senes, who executed the goal perfectly. FAU tried their best to find that equalizer, but it just wasn't enough. And we saw that frustration boil over when a little altercation happened in
We had a fracas, a
and
brouhaha.
I'll describe what happened. So Miracle Porter was trying to get the ball, but she got fouled hard by by Southern Miss's defender, Macy Pennington. And after that, they got up in each other's faces and started shoving each other, and it further escalated into a punching match. It was just
So we had a rumble at Rice Stadium,
yeah,
a brouhaha,
yeah,
a fracas, a
And of course-
hullabaloo,
A throwdown.
the ref
a
had to pull out.
throwdown,
But man, that you could
a
see that
soccer
frustration
showdown.
boiled over. Frustration boiled over in the game.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, frustration wasn't enough to help FU be motivated to get that equalizer, and it resulted in their early exit.
yeah, and it was definitely early disappointing. I feel like that's been kind of the theme for FAU sports this season and postseason. It's kind of been a little disappointing with FAU football getting blown out by Memphis, then both FAU basketball teams losing early in the tournament, and now FAU women's soccer falling in the first round quarterfinals of Southern Miss. And really, it just seemed like Southern Miss was the better team for most of the game. They needed a late push, but they couldn't get it because Southern Miss defense was just that good. It took until like the 67th minute for FAU to finally break through. So much credit to Southern Miss. But Eston, what are you going to take away from this FAU women's soccer season?
Besides, as we've mentioned, the disappointing end to it, similar to the men's team, I think that there's been a lot of encouraging signs this season. This is again looking to be an exciting time to be an FAU women's soccer fan. I'm really excited to see how they do next year, especially with someone like I'm sorry, her name is escaping me. Our goalie,
The goalie, Emmett Cohen.
Emmett Cohen. Thank you. Like, having a position like goalie or having the goalie position be a strong position it's a good thing to have. And there's a lot of returning players. I'm really looking forward to see how they do next season because I think after this type of loss, I have a feeling that they're not going to let this slip up again next season. So yeah, I'm a very good season and a good step forward. So
yeah, we kind of expect them to make a deep run in the tournament with our preseason expectations. But this is a solid season for an FAU women's soccer team that had some questions going in, but we saw 5 Owls make the All Conference USA team. We saw a player make first team All Conference USA, 2 players make second team. We had a freshman make all freshmen. So there are definitely positive signs to take into the offseason, and I wouldn't be surprised if FAU goes even deeper in the tournament next year. But that'll end it for the FAU soccer portion. We're going to move on to FAU baseball. And you know how we said last episode not to panic? I'm starting to feel a little bit, I'm inching a little closer to the panic button right now. If you didn't know, FAU baseball lost 3 out of 4 to Old Dominion by the scores of 7-2, 3-10, 2-8, and finally getting a 4-0 victory on Sunday, April 11th. They got another 4-game stretch at UAB, which is going to be a tough one. 2 games are going to be played with a DH. But Richard, some of these scores, 2-7, 3-10, 2-8, the defense has got to be better.
Yeah, and I agree. Well, credit to Old Dominion. It looks like they're having a fantastic start to the season as well as conference play. They have one of the best records in the conference. So it was pretty clear that they were the better team in this series. But FAU has to wake up. And hopefully, with that win on Sunday, last Sunday, in the 4-0 victory, hopefully that wakes them up. And it better wake them up fast.
Yeah, Eston, it's really difficult to kind of take positives from a series where you lost 3 out of 4. But where would you go if you're looking for positives?
BJ Murray, Nolan Shaniel continue to be the bright spots for this team. And BJ Murray to me especially he's more of a well-rounded player compared to Shaniel. On the defensive end, I think BJ Murray's maybe, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I believe based off of what I've watched, he's only made 1 error all season. And also the one thing I've noticed when it comes to the pitching is the starters have done, for the most part, they've done well, but one consistent thing I've been seeing is for, let's say, 6 or 7, hell, maybe even 8 innings, they're throwing well, maybe allowing a run or two, but there always seems to be one inning in particular where the opposing team just dominates, just blows up the scoreboard. I mean, against ODU this weekend, there was one inning, I think it was the first game on Saturday, where I believe all of their runs came in the 6th inning off a 10-run inning. Like you can't be allowing a 10-run inning or 7-run inning a game. That's unacceptable.
That was the 6th inning of the second game.
7 out of 10
they had 7 runs in the 6th inning. And more credit to Old Dominion, who's 23-5 and 9-1 in Conference USA. Like they're 11, really good
11-1 away too. We actually
they are
did
road
give
warriors.
them the first loss.
They are road warriors. Shout out to Hawk and Animal, WWF. They are road warriors. Legion of Doom. And the thing that kind of shocks me and kind of is a disappointing thing to take away from this series is in the 4 games that FAU played Old Dominion, they gave up 12 hits, 8 hits, 9 hits, 4 hits. Of course, the 4 hits was the 4-0 victory, but 12, 8, and 9 in 3 straight games, the pitching has got to be better. We talked about it a little bit. They had a 7-run inning. The first game of the series, Old Dominion put up 5 runs in the 8th inning. Then in the 8-2 victory Old Dominion had, they had 6 runs in the 3rd inning. So it's really those runs where FAU just can't recover, but it starts with the pitching. You got to keep points off the board at the end of the day. That was kind of one of the weaker spots when FAU was on that huge run where they were ranked and they were beating Miami and they were beating Florida. We said the bats are going to show up, but it's up to the pitching to kind of keep it in play. All I have to do is steer the boat. They don't have to make any conscious like hard turns or anything. The bats will do that. All they got to do is keep it steady. And we haven't seen that so far, but they got another series coming up against UAB at UAB, and then they have a 5-game set, or they have a 6-game set at the team down south, and then at home against the team down south. And then they'll finish up the season on May 18th at Miami again. So I think there's a very good chance FAU finishes with a winning record, considering they're playing FIU, they're playing West Kentucky, Southern Miss, then Miami. But for that to happen, the pitching has to show up. But that's going to do it for our FAU sports portion of the show. We're going to move on into the NBA. And guys, I've been wanting to talk about this since it happened. I was telling Richard in our group, I was telling Eston, Man, did y'all see that Miles Bridges dunk on Clint Capella? Dude, the I was watching it on Twitter and I saw him go back and I'm like, oh no. And then boom. And I'm like, oh no. Like I was like, I audibly yelled seeing that dunk. And I want to ask you guys, because this conversation come up, and I think Miles Bridges should be in the conversation. Who is the best in-game dunker in the NBA right now?
Mm.
Eston, I'm gonna start with you this time.
Oh, was it Anthony Edwards that made the even crazier dunk earlier in the
Yep,
year where
the
we
business
coined
decision.
the business decision? See, off the top of my head, I gotta put Anthony Edwards. Who's the dude that was with Miami for a
Derrick
bit
Jones
and then he's
Jr.
thank you. Yes.
Yeah, he's from Portland.
He's definitely got to be up there. And if Aaron Gordon usually wasn't someone that just dunked really well at during All-Star weekend, I would put him on there. But in game, also, I mean, now we got to put Miles Bridges on this list because, like,
Absolutely.
come on, that was insane.
Even
so
before
those
this
are
dunk.
my three guys.
Even before this dunk, he had a couple crazy ones. We're just like, yo, this dude is jumping out the gym. But my thing with the business decision for this dunk is Clint Capella can't make that business decision. He has to jump because he's known for blocking shots. Like the whole thing with Yuta Watanabe, he isn't known for anything now except getting yammed on. Clint Capella is known for blocking shots and blocking dunks. So he has to do that. This is like big on big. But he got boomed on, and honestly, I don't hate it. That's the right decision for him to make. But that doesn't mean all you other suckers out there can't go up and dunk or try and get dunked on. Make the business decision, please. I beg you, so you won't end up on a t-shirt. Richard, who are some of the best in-game dunkers to you right now?
Right now, it's between Miles Bridges and Anthony Edwards. I would put Jaylen Brown in that conversation as well because he is very good at dunking in game. He has some great highlights of himself dunking over people and all that stuff. But I got to give credit to Miles Bridges. That poster was nice.
Yeah, that's a wallpaper shot.
Mhm.
And the funniest thing was watching Solomon Hill, Heat legend Solomon Hill, watching his face as Miles Bridges went up. He was like it was like, oh no, this man's about to die. But my pick for best in-game dunker, I'm surprised y'all didn't mention him. Zion Williamson.
Oh, yeah.
He is arguably the best in-game dunker in the league right now. Because the thing is, you can't try and like out physical him because he's an SUV with point guard athleticism.
He's a tank.
He is a
Yes.
tank. He is, I think Rich is gonna get this comparison. He's the colossal titan or the armor titan. He just moves people out the way. He's too big to be moving that fast. And the crazy thing is, he's like our age.
I actually have a friend who went to high school. I'm from South Carolina. He went to school in upstate South Carolina for high school. I have a friend that made it onto one of his dunk compilations, and I've never seen a man so happy to get posterized in my life.
Oh no.
I remember getting the text message. He's like, "Hey man, go check out Zion's latest video." Like 3 minutes in, you just see him just slam the ball down in this little 5'8" kid, and I'm like Brennan, you didn't go try to block him. He's like, no, I didn't want to get hurt, but I still got posterized. I'm like,
see, okay, no offense to your friend, but that is a loser mentality, dude. You gotta get out the way.
yeah.
Imagine leaving like 6th period civics to go get boomed on by Zion Williamson in front of all your friends and family. And now it's social media. You got Twitter, you got YouTube, and now it is immortalized forever.
And considering that he went to a private school too, the competition he was up against in high school, if I was a parent and I had to see my kid go up against Zion, I'd probably also just tell my kid, "Hey, man, good luck."
See, what I would do if I were to ever get dunked on like that, I would change schools. I'm changing my name. I'm I'm wearing a mask the whole time. I'm gonna be out here looking like Rey Mysterio. I'm gonna have a mask on at class every day. They won't know who I am. But again, that is that is a herb
And
mentality. Don't don't do that. For all my
and
young
one la-
kids, don't do that.
and one and one last guy that I'm actually surprised all of us forgot to mention, LeBron. I mean,
I
he
mean, I feel like that's an obvious one.
Didn't expect
yeah, I
it. Didn't. It's he's not
uh,
there.
He is,
okay.
but I think also because he's 36 years old, we gotta add in the little caveat that he is getting up there in age. So we're gonna give it to the young guys.
Hmm.
But the Miles Bridges dunk also brings up what is your candidate right now for dunk of the year? Because I was having this conversation with my dad, and I'm like, I think Miles Bridges just beat out Anthony Edwards for dunk of the year. Because the thing about the Yuta Watanabe dunk was Yuta, like, he switched over late, so he kind of like he wasn't expecting it. Clint Capella expected it, went up with all his might. This was like a clash of the Titans, and he just boomed straight on him. But the Anthony Edwards dunk is just so good because he keeps going up. That's the thing. He could have gone higher. But Eston, what's your pick for dunk of the year?
Ooh, I gotta go with this Miles Bridges one based off of what you said. I mean, Clint Capella saw it coming, and then Clint Capella saw his career trajectory dip at the same time. So I'm gonna give it to Miles Bridges here. He has established himself as a premier dunker in the NBA.
Richard, what's your pick?
I would go with Miles Bridges as well.
I mean, and the thing is, I don't even really feel bad for Clint Capella. I felt bad for Yuta Watanabe a little bit. I don't feel bad for Clint Capella because like that's his job. Like, what is he known for? He's known for blocking shots. That's what he does. Sometimes you just get got, and he got. But Yuta Watanabe, like, I don't know, man. You got to do something. But what we're gonna talk about next actually kind of just happened today, and you know, I'm gonna send him the picture. I'm gonna send you the picture, Richard. But we have to talk about this Aaron Donald thing. So Aaron Donald is having charges for assault pressed against him from some dude that he beat up in a club. Now, your first
Allegedly.
now now your first question is who would try to beat up Aaron Donald? If you've seen Aaron Donald, this man is a Super Saiyan. Two, did you see what he did? You saw what he did to that man? He and
Now
I
now
again,
that's a business decision you have to be correct on. Otherwise, this happens. Oh my
make the
God.
business decision, please. I am begging you. Please make the business decision. Because if you don't, I swear, I think Aaron Donald only punched him once. He punched his eyebrows off.
Bro,
Like, what?
imagine being that strong. Like,
I'd just be lifting stuff for fun if I was that strong. I lift tables like I was Mr. Incredible.
Aaron Donald's a different kind of buff.
And the thing is, you can't say that he's not ready to fight because he's been fighting his whole life. He's 6 feet, 280. It's not like he's going up against other 6 feet people in the NFL. He's going up against 6'5", 330 plus dudes, and he out here just going off on them. Hold
just
on.
using pure muscle to get by the O lineman. I mean, he's the type of lineman where you should put 3 guys on him And they still won't be enough to guard him because Aaron Donald will literally punch his way through,
And
as he's just proven.
I saw some dude on Twitter say, "Nah, he moves too slow. I could take him in a fight." And all I gotta say to you, man, is
The cap.
go get the cap. Go get the cap.
Fight. This isn't a race.
Hold on.
If we're talking about fights, well, speed is important, but it's not the most important thing. It's about.
Have they seen how athletic he is?
You don't have to be fast. All you have to do is be strong, and Aaron Donald has that. Oh my! and we're talking about a fight. This is not a race.
And I mean, if I'm the other guy, right, that got his, I'm not going to use the term I wanted to say, but he got his stuff rocked. Let's put it that way. Yes.
Stacked up.
What is going through your mind when you're like challenging this guy? Like, how confident do you have to be to think, yeah, this dude looks like he can punch a hole through my wall. Yeah, I'm going to pick a fight with him. Doesn't seem like a great idea. Ooh, then
this is incredible.
See, it's making me think about the Oklahoma wide receiver that got whooped in the bar. See, that is an example of a football player that clearly has no combat training and does not know what they're doing in a fight.
See, but the thing about that is, I'd rather get choked out than I would get knocked out. I'd rather just go to sleep instead of getting my eyelids shut and getting the eyebrow smacked off me. I think he only did it in one punch. I think Aaron Donald Saitama. He punched that man once and knocked the whole left side of his face off.
Would you take an Aaron Donald punch for $5 million?
Absolutely not.
Really?
No.
Really?
You see how much
we can get the plastic surgery. We're fine afterwards.
You see how much hospital bills cost now?
Yeah.
Dude,
especially in America.
We are in America, dog. We not seeing, like, we're probably only gonna see $1 of that 5 million.
Okay, how about 10 mil? How high are we gonna go here to get punched by Aaron Donald in the face?
Well, the thing is, let's see.
You can get a free nose job.
Yeah, but I'd rather not need one in the first place. So I like my face the way it is. I would say it'll take at least 10 mil. But like for a UFC fighter or a boxer to punch me in the face, I wouldn't take any amount of money in the world. How am I going to use the money if I'm dead? Like, imagine, so the UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou is known for knocking people out brutally. I wouldn't take a punch from him if my life depended on it. And the thing about this Aaron Donald thing is, so it apparently happened in a club and they like bumped into him and then some words were said. The thing about this is, if you bump into Aaron Donald, if I bump into Aaron Donald and he has a problem with it, I'm be like, my fault, bro. You got it. You got the right of way. Yeah, I'm gonna turn on my blinker and turn right. I'm gone. You got it, big dog. Hey, you need a bottle? Drinks on me, man. You need your car parked? I'll go be a valet. I don't want to fight. That's the thing. I don't want to fight you. I just want to know, at what point did he realize that he was fighting Aaron Donald? Was it before or after he got punched? Because apparently he ended up with like a concussion. He got his eye punched shut. He lost his eyebrow. He got his arm broke. And I'm like, all that from one punch?
But I'm also thinking I'm feeling that Aaron Donald is pretty smart in understanding just that he's so strong and so big that like his arms could be considered a weapon. So like what did this guy do to piss Aaron Donald off so much that he knocked him into oblivion?
Honestly, I don't think I don't think he pissed him off that much. If Aaron Donald was really angry, look, have you seen the video of Aaron Donald picking up Devontae Freeman, an NFL running back? Of course, he's on the shorter side. He's like 5'9", like 190. He picked him up like he was a baby and carried him like 5 yards. That man is ungodly strong. Now imagine taking a punch from that dude. I would be in the, not even in the morgue. He would punch me to Gainesville. He would punch me back to Gainesville. I get you, boop, and I'll be, ew. I'm gonna end up in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
He could punch people through walls the same way that Mr. Incredible threw his little boss through the wall in the beginning of the movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Aaron Donald probably saw that guy and just launched him, and in his head, the guy that got punched went through like 10 walls in the process.
So the last thing we're going to leave you off is we're going to leave you off with mascot combat. You know what time it is. I wish we had the rights to licensing for the Mortal Kombat music, because right now you be hearing the bam, 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 bam. But I don't think we can pay for that as University Press. Shout out to the FAU. But our final four, let me go check my Twitter real quick to make sure I get the final four correct. But our final four for this first, the annual, the beginning of mascot combat. Hopefully it'll go on for long after we leave. But our final round, let me see if I can. All right. Our final four is the tree of Sanford. It beats Mr. Okra. Keggy the Keg absolutely stomped Wushlock. It was 100% of the vote went to Keggy the Keg. A first. That is a record. Then Owlsley beat Speedy the Geoduck. So take with that what you will. And finally, the magical run of Seymour ended to Sammy the Banana Slug. Sammy the Banana Slug is in the final four of mascot combat. That's Richard's underdog. So what we're going to talk about first is before we choose our favorites from the final four and who we think is going to win out of these four, we're going to start with something that was brought up to me by our friend of the show and host of the FAU Daily podcast that's hosted by FAU Sports, John DeStefano. Shout out to John. If mascot combat were a real thing, what would the mascot's finishing moves be? Eston, we'll start with you because your fan favorite Stanford tree. As someone who's had a tree fall down on their house, I expect you to have the most knowledge on what a finishing move for the Stanford tree would look like. So you go ahead, take it away. What would be the finishing move?
So I'm envisioning that the Stanford tree is going to use a combination of an RKO and your traditional tree falling methods, where it's going to come out of nowhere. Like someone's going to yell timber, right? Like the tree's going to come out of nowhere. And then, yeah, the mascot's going to look up and there's going to be a giant tree falling, while also the tree will be staring with those like those nightmarish eyes looking into the mascot's face. Like if that was the last thing that you saw before you go to oblivion, that
scared.
sucks.
That you hate to see it. I was thinking for the tree, I was thinking more like it like grab you with its tree branches and like toss you up in the air, and like it get all its tree brethren, because you know the redwoods are in California. It'll get all its tree brethren to just whack you with branches, and you just getting stomped out by a bunch of trees. Richard, what do you think? What do you think would be the finisher for the Stanford tree?
Yeah, iconic fatality would be the timber. So
we'll go with the timber. We'll go with Eston's timber. Now, for Keggy the Keg, I had a great idea. So y'all know Voltron, right? The super mecha, the keg stand of Keggy the Keg would morph into Voltron, but for Dartmouth, and it's a keg. And instead of shooting like laser beams or plasma beams, it would shoot malt liquor. It would shoot. Oh no, you know what? It would shoot White Claw, and it not that regular White Claw. It'd be like the new like extra alcohol-y White Claw.
Well, or for the ultimate finisher, Everclear.
Oh, you trying to get
Or
What would
they don't have moonshine at Dartmouth though. I would
Dartmouth.
say moonshine, but they don't have.
They're
it
in
there.
New Jersey, I think. They don't do moonshine up
Yeah,
there.
they don't got moonshine. They don't got it up there.
They ain't Southern.
since Kegi won 100% to 0, what will be its flawless victory kill?
The flawless victory, I feel like it would like drown people in like malt liquor, or like a 40 ounce. It drowned them in a 40 ounce. Like people, how they waterboard people, but instead of water, oh my gosh, it's like Budweiser. You're just drowning in a pool of like Heineken. But I'm telling you, dog, you have it turned into Voltron. Where it shoots out college papers and money, but also shoots out Everclear or like the extra alcohol-y White Claw. That would be the most feared mascot of all time. If it actually looked like, maybe it's like all the Ivy League schools come together and make like a gigantic Megazord, like in Power Rangers. Where like maybe Harvard is the head because they're the most known, and then like Yale and Princeton are the arms, and then you got Brown and then Dartmouth as the legs because they're like they're not as well known. That's actually a pretty good idea. Ivy League Megazord, but all they would do is shoot out student debt. And
Sounds like the college experience.
And occasionally, like Dartmouth would shoot shoot Bud Light from his feet. You know what? Jesus can turn water into wine. Keg the Keg can turn water into beer. And on the third day, Keggy the Keg rose up. But it was on a Saturday afternoon, and Dartmouth was losing 48-0 to Yale. And he said, on this day, ye shall be blessed with White Claw to drown the sorrows of losing. Let Dartmouth say amen. You get people like praise Keggy. Oh, hail Keggy. Thank God for the resurrection. Keggy, take the stage. Oh my God. They let us have too much fun on this show, man. All right, so moving on, we got Owlsley from FAU. Now, this is an interesting one because Owlsley is like an actual like thing. Like it's an actual, like, it's not a live owl, but Owlsley is supposed to be an owl. So, Richard, we'll start with you. What would Owlsley finishing move be?
I think it would be a literal death stare, since owls like to have their eyes wide open. They could pretty much be staring at you, but instead of it just a normal death stare, it's a literal death stare.
It just stares at you and dies, and you die?
Once it stares at you,
That's like that statue they have of Owlsley outside the wreck. If you stare at it for too long, you get hypnotized. Let's see, what would Owlsley's be? Oh gosh, I'm thinking, he uses the wings as like razors, and like he puts them together, and like he has a beak, and he just starts turning, so it's like a drill, and just wham straight through. It's like a Mortal Kombat. Or like maybe he like uses it to like decapitate people where he's like but I don't think Owlsley's that hard though. Owlsley's not that tough. So I'm thinking it'd just be like death by 1,000 pecks. Where he's just pecking you into oblivion. Eston, what do you think Owlsley's finish would be?
I think the death stare. I feel like that's what Owlsley would go for. He probably gets somewhere up high, and his target would be looking up, and then Owlsley would just be like,
I feel
and then it's just game over.
We're 1.8 miles from the beach. I kind of feel like Owlsley would just like toss people into the ocean. Or maybe like he would beat them up so bad they end up like going to like Nordstrom Rack. That's what that's what Boca Raton's known for. Being by the beach and Nordstrom. I ain't heard nobody else talk about FAU or Boca Raton outside of being from the beach. Oh, he could take the lane train and run somebody over with the lane train. He commit vehicular assault. which apparently is a thing. Like on Boca campus. Vehicular assault is a thing dating back to like 2013.
The Howard War Zone.
Oh my gosh, the Howard War Zone.
That could be. Owlsley probably has one of the more versatile fatality to his. What I'm looking for.
To his arsenal. He has a lot of finishers or fatalities.
Arsenal. Yes. Yeah. He's versatile, so he has plenty he could come up with.
And now for our final one, we got Sammy the Banana Slug. Now I'm thinking, let me do some research real quick. Essen, or Richard, this is your underdog. Richard, you can go with what you think the finish for Sammy the Banana Slug would be.
I believe when it comes to Sammy, he could be referred to as a possible poison type, or his ears are like antennas. Like he could pretty much have a call out to every one of his species, band together, and just take out their opponent.
So I'm thinking it's kind of something like Gengar. The Pokemon Gengar, where like if you touch it, the slime or the ooze like scientifically it's supposed to numb your tongue or numb you if you get some of the slime on you. So maybe like they get so numb they like start hallucinating, and you think you're like in Santa Cruz surfing with this beach bro that's a banana slug. Like surf's up, dude, and then like throws you into like a wildfire.
So wait, so Sammy just drugs you? Is that what happens?
Oh no!
Because I'm sorry. Was that too much?
Oh no! What have we done?
Did my lack?
Oh,
drug dealer.
Did my lack of filter just
well,
it is.
It is California, so like maybe. I could see it, but like out of all these, I feel like Jesus, aka Keggy the Keg, rising up on the third day as Voltron, would like give all these the hands. Like if I'm looking at it realistically, I think Keggy the Keg is gonna win mascot combat. Like I thought he's overwhelming.
But what if Sammy's the type that because he's a slug, right? What if he gets you from the inside? So he'll like really crawl in there, just kind of take care of like your intestines and everything like that, and just you're done. Like again, how are you supposed? Like how's your body going to react when you're getting taken away from the inside? You can't really win.
Well, let's see. Does alcohol?
That's what I feel.
Does alcohol kill slugs?
Does what?
So apparently, slugs are attracted to beer. So like Keg stand Jesus, Keggy the Keg, is gonna like be like, and on the third day, you've invoked the wrath of Keg the Keg and shoot him with Budweiser and Sammy the Banana Slugs and be like, yes, yeah.
Bro,
Thank you,
what if Sammy
Jesus the
low-key?
Keg.
What if low-key Sammy's like a day drinker, and he's like,
You didn't even
joke's
get,
on you. I'm
you didn't
just
even
gonna
get the
drink
good
it
stuff.
up.
You didn't even get the good stuff. What is this? What is this, Heineken?
Weak.
A little weak. You got the 5% White Claw, not the 8%. What are you, an Ivy League school? Yes.
Just like,
yes, it is.
man, you got to stop the cap right now.
But like, I did not know that. Slugs are attracted to beer. Huh. That's interesting.
Learn something new.
Yeah. The more you know. This is UPressPlay Sports Podcast, but also we talk about science. We talked about religion, and we talked about keg stands. So you get the whole bit here. We run the whole table. This is perfect. This is absolutely great. But I think that's gonna do it for this latest episode of UPressPlay Sports. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to follow us, like, subscribe on YouTube. Give us 5 stars. You don't give us 5 stars, you're gonna make us real mad, and we're gonna send Sammy the Banana Slug and Owlsley to come jump you. Or if you're out in California, we're gonna get Stanford Tree and his redwoods to come and stomp you out. But don't make us go.
Or we're gonna get Sammy to drug you.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We might do that too. Or we might go get Keg the Keg, priest. He's the Pope of Ivy League, apparently. Thank God for the resurrection. And he's gonna shoot you with beer until like you get drunk, I guess. We'll work out the kinks later. But give us
alcohol
stars.
poisoning.
Yeah. Well, give us 5 stars. Make sure like, subscribe. Give us ideas for what you want us to talk about. We love talking about sports. We don't talk about sports a lot, but this is a sports podcast. Give us some ideas. We're gonna turn it into something crazy either way. But that'll do it from Eston Parker, photo editor, Rich Pereira, sports editor. I'm business manager Joseph Acosta. Wishing you a great rest of your day.